Okay. So for whatever it's worth, you do not have a quorum with two.
I do see that.
Uh-oh.
Well, I
Maybe
know we
it's just
can't
me.
vote. Can we?
You can discuss anything you want. You just can't do anything that requires a vote because the quorum is to ensure that there's at least a majority of commissioners to
Okay.
Right.
make a decision.
We can't even accept
Oh,
minutes, can we?
That
I
is
know.
technically true.
Right.
Oh,
I just,
I'm gonna text Santos and then Lafredo.
no, Lafredo's not coming.
Oh, he's not?
oh,
No,
we don't have Dan anymore, right?
we don't
Dan
have Dan, and
resigned.
Lafredo is at a ball game. And I don't know about Andrew. I asked in my message with the items, I asked if anyone else wasn't coming because I told them Dan is out and Brian wasn't coming.
All right, I can text Andrew too. So hang on one second. Uh, I mean, you can always discuss. That's all fine. Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to wait to approve meetings, that's minutes, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that next time.
Yeah, it's
What was up with the address, Brian, on the, I'm glad you got my message. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to sign in.
well, I have a problem with Lynn's agenda. I can never use that link.
Yeah, me neither.
So, well, everyone else has been using it, so I never said anything.
Well,
I have to go
maybe,
back to
maybe
the original that Tira sent. Something gets changed when Lynn puts it in her agenda.
I have trouble with Mizrach's meetings too.
In fact, I think at the Mizrac meeting, Bernie identified it. Check the first letter. So
I saw that.
when I send the link to Lynn, I do make it live. In other words, I space it so that it becomes a live link. But I think it might automatically capitalize the H in
The eight.
HT.
Oh,
And
is
Yep.
that what
Bernie was
is that what
saying,
does it?
yeah, Bernie was
Yes.
saying at the last Mizrac meeting that when that happens, the HTTP is actually case sensitive.
Oh, because
Yep.
it actually is. It is. I don't know. Well, it's blurry. It is
Yep.
capitalized.
So
Yes.
next
No,
time,
that's
try
probably
that.
fine.
Okay,
But
well
you know
that
what?
that would that's good to know.
I couldn't copy the link. So that's why I reached out because there was no way that I could cut and paste the link. It wouldn't let me, which was weird. But anyway, okay. So do we
Okay, I bet
start or
that'll
no?
work. Well, I mean, we
You
can
can get going.
discuss.
I did text Santos and Irby. I do not have responses, so we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Well,
We can discuss the minutes, though, right?
You
yeah.
can
Well,
discuss whatever you want. You just can't vote on anything.
the
Okay. All
minutes.
right.
I let
Well,
Lynn know right away last week, last month that the she said the meeting will be canceled due to Meet the Candidates event.
yep, I saw that. So that's the only change that needs to be made.
Yeah, I told her that as soon as I got the minutes a month ago. So she didn't resend any. I don't know if it got changed, but that was the only thing I saw.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Well, can't
Um,
vote, so
yeah, and that's okay. I'll put it on for um January. Um, you looked at the budget report?
yeah, I can I can tell you that there's $12,868.32 available in the budget.
Yeah. Um, I don't have anything specific for, excuse
So
me, for a report.
Andrew just texted back. He is unavailable tonight. Looks like his kids have a sporting event of some kind.
Yeah, I see that with my kids. I don't know how they do it. They're so busy. Um, well, looking at new business adoption of trade names, the only one I got was Sauna at Frog Hollow. It's another Gary Kettle business with Stumpy Gone, Wilsonville Herb Farm. Just for grins, and Todd might be interested.
What
That
kind of
it,
business? It's a tree stump
sauna,
business?
a sauna. Well, he has Stumpy Gone, and
Oh, oh,
They have the Wilsonville Herb Farm.
oh, okay. So this is a sauna. So, okay. Bring your
Yep.
bathing suit or bring a towel.
I guess we talked about having the next TBA meeting there. Just
Oh,
kidding.
really? Oh,
We were kidding, but yes, we did say that.
oh, okay.
Um, Now that's our 20th adoption of trade name for the year. This is where Todd might be interested in. Um, I looked at the last 5 years, 20 for this year, 17 for last year. We had 30 for 2023, 21 for 2022, and 32 for 2021. So that's 120 new businesses in 5 years. We've lost at least six, but I mean, it's not bad for a small town, even though we'd like to do better.
Yeah, and these
That's
are
all.
pretty much at-home businesses.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all well, mostly small stuff, except Pit Stop, Triple Raven. For examples of
Mm.
more than a home business that came up in the last few years. Um, and then TBA membership is around 70, and we're going to have mostly a new slate for January because the president is now first selectman and the treasurer moved away. So we'll see how that goes in January. Okay, that's the minutes. I'm looking at all my papers. Uh, new business. Santos was supposed to go bring a letter to Marie to request to be made an alternate. And then Andrew wanted to be one of the regulars. And now we need another alternate. So I'm just bringing it up here. We'll be short an alternate with Dan Bennett being on planning and zoning.
Do we have a recruiting section on the front page of our website? When you click on it, I should know that, but it's a good way to advertise for vacant seats, right? Or vacant, volunteers.
So
Well, I
on
know
the
we
on the
do.
website, there's a tab. There's the same button for employment and volunteers, uh, and it's like a two or three click to get through. So you're on the home page. You click through the employment button. Let me do it right now while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I know there's something that shows the openings, not exactly a recruiting. And I'm drinking lemonade, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
We're just going to ask, what's in that blue can?
But my American Motors cozy keeps
Okay.
it cold.
All right. Second. The way you were woofing that back like that, you
Okay,
wanted every last
so
drop.
Yeah.
from the home page, uh, about halfway down, there is a green button for employment volunteer. One click takes you, so it's only one click through, employment on top, and then volunteer underneath. So right now, it does not indicate that EDC is looking for
Hmm.
volunteers. It shows building committee, housing authority, inland wetlands, trails, and transfer station. Maria's out on vacation this week. She's going to be back next week. I am actually now a full admin on the page, but I can't, I don't have my login saved at home, so I can't do it while we're in the meeting. Um, But if you send me an email as a reminder, because I work out of my email, I can fix that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I went in to see Marie today. I didn't know she was on vacation. I just know she wasn't there.
Yeah, and for whatever else it's worth, we are migrating to a new platform with the same company. It's previously been a Drupal platform, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, it it's no longer supported by Drupal. So Todd, we're probably gonna have to get you new logins too, um, for the pages because you are an admin on the EDC page and maybe some other part of the website. Is that right?
Yeah, the EDC page is separate from Civic Plus, so I don't have to go through them. But
Well,
for
I
the
knew that your page was separate, but
yeah,
on
my you're right. My page is separate, but yeah, the town page, I would need new credentials if those are going to change.
yes, and I believe they are. So I will. So again, send me an email and I'll push that out to get you new
Okay.
logins. Marie and I and Gail had a training on the new website today, and we have another 2 or 3 hours on it tomorrow morning. I actually found it, Todd, much more intuitive than
Okay.
the prior setup. Gail, I know, did not agree, but I don't know. It seemed much more sort of graphically friendly and less text heavy. So I don't expect you'll have any difficulty with it. And you don't do much in the EDC page anyway, really, but you do
Right.
have admin access.
hmm
Yeah, okay. We'll make that happen.
Is it just the back end, or are they planning any changes to the how it displays or the visuals or anything? The
Um,
templates?
it it looked a little zhuzhed up, but fundamentally the same.
Same. Yeah.
Sure, I hate when you get technical.
How do you spell that word?
Nobody knows.
No, we're gonna
I
let
know.
Lynn worry about it when she hears the recording.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It actually can't be spelled.
I bet.
okay. Okay, so you Terry, you added airline trail Z maps to new business.
Well, so the problem is you can't vote on an expenditure with only two of you.
Okay.
And I have to decide by tomorrow if we want to go in with the new reorder. Joanne, tell me what's left in the from the budget line in printing and publications.
Uh, 1779.
1,779.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Todd, do we do we have in our contract anything that's going to require print?
No, other than what you guys printed for Community Day, which is
Right,
in the past.
right. Um, so and tell me what's left, Joanne, in the branding initiatives line.
9,000 even.
And is that what I owe you, Todd?
I got
I
to do
just
a
want to
quick
know where
math.
all my money is going.
I'm supposed to be on till June, right?
Yeah.
Oops. I'm using my wife's calculator here at her desk. I should be able to do this in my head, but I can't.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah, that line item is equal to my next 6 months.
Okay, so the branding initiatives is all for your contract. That is what I expected. So you can use that money from the print line for a ZMAP reprint if you want. What I don't know is what the cost would be for the one update we would need, which would be to swap out the picture from Drafters, which I would swap out with a picture from Main Street Gelato because we have a lot of nice high quality images there now, um, and the cost share on the print run. So I can find those things out tomorrow, uh, but we have no way to vote on the expenditure. So I don't know how you want to handle that. I mean, I'll just
Uh,
do it if you're okay with it, but it would be more kosher to have a proper vote.
Yeah, I don't,
can, can we vote electronically? Can you send out an email to get how many
Yes.
votes?
but
You need
last time
three?
we tried that, even for the vote for the brochures that Todd did,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't get everybody responding. I,
Yeah, and what we established for some other thing that we had to vote for online uh, was that it was okay, but it had to be unanimous. And I can't remember which thing that I posed that question to the attorney for. Um,
yeah,
okay,
getting it unanimous within a day is probably not going to happen.
yeah. Santos just emailed he got held up. So I don't know if that means he got held up and he's coming in now or if he's totally out. Let me try. Let me.
Hey, Brian, I've been on other board of director. Well, maybe board of directors is different, where we could electronically vote on something, and they were pretty important issues too.
No,
So
we can. It's
you're
just
saying,
I haven't had great responses. And if it has to be in by tomorrow, the chances are that it wouldn't be in by tomorrow. That
but
that's all
all,
I'm
we
saying.
only
Not that we can't try.
well, do we only need a majority? We need everybody to
No,
say yes.
for an online vote. Oh, I know what it was. It was for something that we did with the land bank. Um, Santos says he can join at 7. So
Okay. Well, then you got three. How many members do we have? Five.
Yeah, one, two, three. We have five.
Really?
Three would work.
Right. That's a
okay,
majority.
I'm texting him back now that if he can make it at 7, it would be helpful.
Yeah, and this is where the alternates would come in handy.
Yeah.
Right. Um, yeah, it was something for the land bank where we had a similar situation. We had a short turnaround time to authorize something, and they fundamentally also use Robert's rules, and it's not otherwise in their bylaws to do it differently. So our council said it was okay if all members replied and the votes of all members were unanimous in favor.
Hmm. Okay.
So he is going to dial in.
Okay. Well, we can move on to get Robert and Todd talking here. First on the agenda, we have the 6:30 Riverside.
Yep, yep. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, really, a lot of stuff going on with this. So, first off, I'm doing a couple of other condominium complexes in the state. I've got one going up in Hamden and one going up in Clinton. So, what I've been able to do is, we're creating condominium bylaws and declarations and stuff like that. And what we're doing, I talked to the business development professional over at CHFA today. And he told me that as long as my condominium bylaws are FHA compliant, then CHFA will allow mortgages on those, which is big because they just recently pumped $22 million into CHFA for what's called a time to own program. I don't know if any of you have heard about this yet.
No.
Time to own program is basically $25,000 of down payment assistance to buy either a home or a condo. That's forgivable over 10 years. So for every year that you own the condo, it's a 0% interest loan and it gets chopped down $2,500 for 10 years. So basically, if you bought a condo for, let's say, 225, you can get $25,000 in 0% interest. And it helps people too, that helps them qualify for more also because that last 25 is 0%, which is enormous. So that's a big thing here. So I'm going to be really pushing that because it basically helps people, get into these things for, practically no money down because it's all,
Yep.
it's all 0% interest down payment assistance, which is beautiful. And you can roll your closing costs in with that as well. So I'm doing that on other condominium developments, so it's really good to have, and that's going to be a big marketing thing for me when we get to what I'm going to talk to you about next, as far as promoting these things. That's number one. Number two is I've engaged my personal civil engineer who has done stuff for me for many years, who I convinced to come from Norwalk all the way up to Thompson to do this development for me. So I'm like, I couldn't even begin to tell you how excited I was about that because this guy's sharp. He's been doing this a long time. He's going to come up here and do the test holes with my excavator when we're doing the test holes for the stormwater retention. I had a meeting with my excavator and him already. We did a Zoom and we kind of, did a Google Earth, and I was showing him how I was going to phase out the condominiums and stuff like that. So we've already kind of got a plan in place of doing the first set of units over on Park Street and then working our way back to where the mill used to be. So at least we can start getting some phases up in the spring. So we can start, people are actually see buildings being built. It's all subject to, the LEP being able to take the other side where the mill was and, basically setting up like a barrier, like, fencing, encapsulating on that side. So this way we're not anywhere near, any of the problem areas on the site. So we could basically start building where, because we're going to be hundreds of feet away from where the mill was. So it's actually really good. I'm going to have a report, a preliminary environmental report on Friday, which we've basically combed through 2,000 pages of all the environmental assessment that was done back in 2016. So I'm going to have my preliminary report, and then I'm going to send it to my LEP, Tim, who you guys, some of you met him on MISRAC. He's going to be reviewing that one. But basically, I have a plan now, which where my development is going to basically be phased on the, let's call it the clean side, dirty side. The clean side we're going to get started on. And then the other side, we're going to be waiting for either, the brownfield grant or potentially a loan. I don't think I'm going to go to loan route, just because of the amount of work and money that it's going to cost to do this. Tara, I'm sure you know this. You've looked through those reports, but in the environmental expenses, they have like rebuilding all those retaining walls and everything all up and down the river, which is freaking awesome. So, if I can get money from the state for that, then that's a big expense saved, as far as a grant's concerned. And Tara, too, the grant, I've got a whole staff here that could help out with, writing a good majority of it, kind of do a lot of the heavy lifting if you want. If
Uh, well, it's kind of up to you, Robert. I have no problem doing it with Tim.
hmm
The last time I did one, I mean, really, it was the LEP who did the heaviest lift because it's the technical aspects that are the most significant to the state. And the rest
hmm
of it, the narrative stuff, that's easy.
Yeah, right.
Um,
I already have it all
the
written, so it's already done.
yeah, I don't actually think the brownfield grants are difficult to put together in some ways, although my perspective on that may be colored by the fact that Wayne Bugden probably did a lot of work I didn't even know about on the last one.
hmm
This is a simpler project than the big mill in several regards. So doesn't matter to me. I don't I will have one other grant I'm likely to be writing that'd be due in mid-January, but that would be a small one to a private foundation.
hmm
And I don't even think that round 23 is going to open until the end of January.
Right. Yeah,
I
that's
think
that's a
that's
good
when their
slow
time
start.
frame is.
hmm
It's about then in any case. So
Yeah.
no skin off my nose. I mean, it is kind of part of what I do. So,
Yeah, and the fact that they're already invested into this project, with the assessment grants from back, back 10 years ago, makes
oh
this
yeah,
pretty
believe me,
viable, you know.
we always remind them that they've already sunk money into this project
Yeah,
and that it
yeah.
would benefit everyone for them to continue apace.
Yeah, I was just going back and forth with Banu today on something else. So, they're waiting for it, which is nice. So that's good. On another note, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to get the thing is I'm like so anxious to do so much work here, but I have to, obviously I need to take title first before I can really start going bananas here. I want to do, but my vision down the road here is, I'm talking like spring as we get close. As I get closer to taking title, what I want to do is I want to do some like a really large, like an open house for buyers and business owners. Because I'm going to have these units that are going to be the second. I might be able to do the bottom floor retail on the second phase, which for second or third phase, which we'll talk about it once I get this report over to Tim and he really breaks it down and says, yeah, you know what, that kind of looks good. Then we can have a further conversation. But what I want to do is I want to get businesses and buyers in together, maybe have like a, CHFA mortgage broker there, have somebody explain the time to own program, all these different financing options that will allow, that can, help people qualify for these units. Maybe incorporate some of the residents, maybe like a community engagement thing too, because the more promotion I have for this development, the better. Because I want to sell them all out. I want to be like, work at this, very fast. So I'll be leaning on all you guys with that. I think that unless you think it's a bad idea, I mean, I really want to do
No.
something like that.
I'm sure there's some way we can work something like that out. Um, I think, I certainly think you have to be at least very close to having
Right.
the title
Right.
thing wrapped up. And I
Yeah.
did talk to Mark yesterday.
Hmm.
Um, uh, he and our attorney just need to work that out. What
Uh,
he's asking for, I told him I don't care which attorney files that record.
I'll do it myself. I don't care.
And what he said is that what your guy said is that if he does it, it's got to be done in one kind of way, which he seemed to think would be a problem, but which is that it would be the agreement that we already signed being
Hmm.
added to the land records. From my perspective, that's no problem at all. That's a public document
Sure.
because it's town generated. So I'm not sure what his reservation was on that. I did
Hmm.
instruct him to call our guy. I don't
Yeah, he
know if he
did.
did that.
He
Okay.
did, and I saw the email go to Slater too, and I haven't heard back from Slater. So, I was thinking about picking up the phone and just calling Slater, if you don't mind. And just be like,
I
hey,
don't mind. What I will say is I often feel bad because I am pulling Ken Slater in like
mm,
six different directions right now.
got it.
And what happens is, as each issue becomes slightly more emergent,
Hmm.
I email him and I say, "Hey, remember when I told you to move this to the top of your list? Could you move this to the top of your
Yeah,
list
yeah.
instead?"
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's having an effect on. I, I know what he and I were going back and forth on today, and it was something
Hmm.
that's very important. And this is also very important.
Hmm.
But every
Okay,
time I tell him to switch his priorities, one of the other super important things is getting pushed down.
got it.
So my inclination is just to have Mark come file the existing agreement, which has
Cool.
all of the terms,
Hmm.
and then be done with it. And if we want to attach something else to the land records later, that's fine.
Perfect.
But he seemed to think that that was what it would have to be if he did it. So I would just say, tell him to come do it.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, because he was like, "Oh, I don't want to piss anybody off." He's like, I have no problem doing it because it's just an assignment. It's just like if somebody assigned a mortgage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a loan, like Bank of America assigns it to a servicer, so they record an assignment. That's all it is. So
Yeah, he
I'll
seems to
drive
be
down there.
he seemed to be coming at it from like a confidentiality point of view, but it
Oh,
is a public document because it was
right.
generated by and for the town. So there is no confidentiality expectation.
Exactly. And it's I mean, we had hundreds of people, 150 people or whatever it was that voted
Yeah.
on it. So I think it's pretty much public knowledge at this point. That's fine because I looked up I did a bring down of the big mill too, and I didn't see any that document recorded there either. So
Well,
whatever. Listen, we'll
yeah, we've got all kinds of
before
stuff going
Christmas,
on with
this
the
is
big
done.
mill.
I don't care if I got to drive down and record it myself. I'm going to do it. That's it.
Well, tell your attorney to do it.
I know, exactly. So anyway, but that's that. One other thing I wanted to ask you, Tara, I know that when we had Mizrac, we spoke with Nick. Have you guys made any progress with David Kors?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
I'm glad you brought it up. We have something at least tentatively on the books for January 21st for him to come up and meet.
Oh, fantastic. Can I be a part of that or
And
no?
that's just a preliminary meeting with the three of, I mean, you're welcome to it, but that's a
Okay.
back of house meeting
Okay. All
prior
right.
to
Let me
anything
know.
going in front of the full Board of Selectmen.
All right. Yeah.
Um, as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
But that is mostly introductory for Nick to David. Obviously, I know David and am
Mhm.
more familiar with the program,
Yep.
but it is something that would have to be an opt-in, that would be an action at the very least of the select board,
Yeah.
if not some other mechanism. And I think that's part of what we're going to discuss.
Got it. Okay. Just so you guys all know, so David Kors, they have this. You could tell them, Tara, a little bit about it. I mean, it's basically something that helps improve downtown areas. They've been focused on transit-oriented developments, things that are towns that are close to train stations. However, Thompson, I believe, has a very rare need for this kind of thing because, granted, we don't have train stations and stuff like that, but there is no downtown. So it should take a big priority as far as getting any type of incentives from the state because we need to build Thompson. We're going to build it. We need to build downtown, and I think
Yeah,
that
so
but
just to fill the EDCers in on this program. So David Corus has held several positions within the state. He was with DECD. I think he was with Advanced CT for a while. And now he is the director of a quasi state agency called the CMDA, the Connecticut Municipal Development Agency. I think it's agency. Uh, and what they will do is if towns opt in, um, they essentially will come and they'll offer very high level advice on how to sort of get to the next level in economic redevelopment. It is focused on transit-oriented development for sure. But when I spoke to David, actually at the housing conference, I chewed his ear for a little while. I said, look, Thompson, to Robert's point, does not currently have any active rail, and the bus line is de minimis. But we do have that rail line. Right now, it's a single directional line that is freight only, but it does go straight into Worcester. And Gumpert also owns 915 Riverside, which is the old Jim's Hardware, which sits literally right on the rail line. So to me, there is a massive potential to try to reactivate that line, at least in like a commuter time frame, like going north in the morning and south in the afternoon, up into Massachusetts to hit the Worcester commuter rail. But I don't have the leverage as a local municipal planner to really initiate those conversations with anybody in Metro Worcester. So Chorus was all like, "Oh yeah, that's no problem. We do stuff like that all the time. Ha 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 ha."
yeah.
So that's what the conversations are going to be about. And there's stuff on that in his program that is directly incentivized in the new housing bill that passed.
Mhm.
Um, and it passed. It is the law. It is state law now.
Yeah.
Uh, thank God. Um, so it's an opt-in program, but I highly am going to recommend, obviously, that we do opt in to the CMDA program so that we can move towards this like transit-oriented development district, which would just be an overlay on the downtown Mill Rehabilitation District,
Mhm.
because it unlocks other grant funds within the state that they're forming that are going to be active by like 27, 28,
Mhm.
for infrastructure to support those activities. So there's a lot of dominoes that can fall. Um, so that's what we're going to be setting up to look at. And housing density is a part of it as well.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah,
what it is.
and they've really taken an interest in my home ownership model. I had several conversations with the Department of Housing recently, including the commissioner, and the home ownership program is like their number one priority right now. Everybody's putting up rentals all over the state. You drive down the state, you see all these new buildings that are squares. They get the foam boards on them and stuff like that. That's all rentals. So this home ownership thing, literally, I put an application in the fall for something in Hampton. I got called within 48 hours. That's unheard of. Like it usually takes them a month or two to get. It was 48 hours. It was great. I was like, perfect. This is awesome. So they really like the home ownership model, which is good. So I think David's going to be a um, key asset here to get that whole Route 12 drag kind of lively and going. And still, like I said, we've been talking about this here forever. You still have the country's beautiful, and then you have a little downtown. What's wrong with that? That's fantastic. So, and that's what this whole, EDC is all about, building up businesses and, getting some things really moving over here. So I also wanted to bring in the CEO from Capital for Change. She has all types of programs, small business loans and products and stuff like that to really help facilitate things. So that'll be something else we could talk. But I want to do like a big event down the road, come springtime. We'll all talk about that. I'll be on these meetings nonstop. So with you guys. So we'll all collaborate. And if anybody has anything to add right now, please let me know. I hate coming on and talking all the time. I apologize about that.
No, I got an idea. Well,
Sure.
you mentioned, are you going to have your very own lender, or do you have somebody in mind for
I don't
your
have
mortgage?
I can't particularly have a lender. I can have, a list of lenders. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, as real estate, you can't like really just tell them that you have to do one. But I do have someone that is the second largest CHFA volume um, mortgage broker in Connecticut that I'm working hand in hand with on this stuff. And they're actually helping me. They're taking my condo documents for other communities that we're doing and getting them approved with FHA and Fannie and Freddie and all that. So, I kind of owe them a
Okay,
little bit of, for doing me all them favors. I do owe them some business. So, you know,
sure.
but
'Cause,
yeah,
well, it's funny that you should mention this new program because I just heard about it this morning
oh
from one of
yeah.
the local lenders who put an ad on the local radio station, WINY, and said that it was complicated, but they people could call him and he would educate them. There was no income um, uh, level yet. I don't know if that's going to be discussed further in the future. But in any event, it sounded like a super duper program. So I could give you the name of that particular lender. His office is in Danielson. He's been around for a long time. Local realtors give him a lot of business, but he's also very familiar with this new CHFA program. And then there's a lender that's like across the street from where you're going to be building.
Mhm.
He's a smaller guy, but nonetheless, he's still a local guy. And the name of his business is Polaris Lending. So,
Mhm.
He's a member of Thompson Business Association as well,
Yes, he
Polaris.
is.
Okay. All
okay.
right. Listen, I mean,
Jonathan Trump.
the more the merrier, because at the end of the
Yeah,
day, I want realtors selling these. I mean, I'm going to be the listing broker because I list everything I build. That's just my rule. Because
yeah.
if I list with somebody else, they want to talk to me anyway because I built it. So
Oh
it's like,
yeah,
why not
and
just
believe
be the
when you
listing
first
broker? You
you're
know
going
what I
to get
mean?
harassed, all the local realtors, looking for your business. That's for sure. So
Well, I'm taking good care
it
of them as a buyer broker. So I mean, I'm offering, quite a bit of money to them. So, to help bring buyers out there. So, this open house, obviously we'll blitz all the local realtors. We'll get them all there. You know what I mean? We'll do all
mhm.
that. So, it's going to be good. One thing I did want to mention, Tara, while you were talking, and you and I have spoken about this. I know that we've talking with everybody about geothermal and all that. Guys, that's just gonna slow me down, to be honest with you. So I'm not gonna be looking to be slowed down. My units are gonna be high efficiency, all electric, which is a big incentive. For not using fossil fuels and stuff like that. So, the only place we may be using propane is, restaurants that do open flame and stuff like that. But the units themselves are all gonna be all electric. So they're going to be, and it's these units that we're using now, these ductless split units that go like right on the walls. They are so high efficient. I can't begin to tell you. Like the basically just, I mean, you put them on for a couple minutes and the room is like you're sweating or you're freezing. It's one or the other. So that's what I do on these units. So I don't need to. I'm not going to slow myself down and move my development around and try to, wait for a year for geothermal pilots and stuff. I would love to, but I
No,
want to.
I hear you, and I've been very disappointed by the lack of response from Eversource to those messages that I've been sending through Advanced CT. Like, what
Mhm.
was the point of setting up the initial meeting if you're not going to respond when we're ready?
Yeah, even a
Uh,
guy, the other guy, there's like this, he's like, oh, I emailed you and was looking for a time. Like, no, you didn't. Show me where you emailed me because you didn't. It's like whatever. I don't have patience for that kind of stuff. I'm, one speed. You know what I mean? And that's it. So it's all good. Listen, we're moving forward regardless. So when the time comes, and Todd will be talking about this extensively, I think, whatever we can do to blitz the events that we do to kind of get this thing moving. Whether it's Winnie Radio, press, whatever. I mean, we'll do it all. So,
Santos, you've had your virtual hand up for a bit.
oh,
Yeah, my arm's tired. Thank you. Sorry, I'm on the road right now, so I can't really share my video, but good to see Robert.
no, Brad.
So I want to take advantage of what you just said a moment ago about the businesses and marketing campaign and bringing that person in just to kind of educate us about how that's going to be marketed, publicized, and just hear what that person has to say. Because I'm very interested in the businesses that come
Mhm.
into your units and how we're going to control those and just everything around that. And not only for your buildings, but for maybe for future buildings as well. So I'm very interested in that. And maybe we can schedule that for early 2026.
Mhm.
That would be beneficial.
Yeah, no,
So,
And
Brian,
secondly,
Brian, can you tell me what you mean by how we control those business? What I mean, what?
well, maybe control is not the right word, but like, I want to understand how it's marketed a little bit better. If I'm speaking freely, and I'm not trying to limit uh, whatever businesses are coming in there, I don't know if I want to see another pizza place. I don't know if I want to see another smoke shop, right? There's just certain things that I rather not see there, right? And I just want to understand how it's marketed a little bit better, right? Um, so that's where I'm going. T.
Yeah,
So you're
okay.
looking
I got you. And I figured that was more or less what you meant, but I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah,
Um, and here Brian brings something up that I think we do run into, like when it makes it to the planning and zoning level, right? By the time it comes to planning and zoning, their only responsibility is to approve a legal application. So I
that
think
is
what
correct.
Santos is getting at here is you as the landlord
Mhm.
or the broker if you're selling to own on the commercial spaces, but I think you're probably renting on the commercial spaces.
Yeah.
Um, you know, how do we communicate with you? Not so that we're limiting you exactly, but you know, to create what I think you also want, which is a high quality neighborhood experience,
Hmm.
which is what Thompson otherwise lacks. Um, and if you're laissez-faire about it, Brian's absolutely right. It'll be more pizza shops.
That
It'll be another vape shop.
thank you for filling
Yeah.
in the blanks, T. I was trying to be just kind of going around going around it a little bit. But yes, that's exactly my point. And yeah, planning and zoning, yeah, we're limited. We have to approve what's dictated in the regulation. So if it so happens to be that way, then we will evaluate it that way. But I feel like I would like an opportunity just to look at how that's marketed, right? And then go from there, Robert.
Well, I can tell you the way it would be marketed is this. There's the footprint. The footprint's 22 by 35. It's a wide open canvas. So what's going to happen is whoever wants to put a business there is going to come to me with a plan, with a proposal, with a drawing on it. I'm giving them a blank canvas. I'm going to say, hey, listen, this is what we have. If it's a wide open space, it's a little bit more expensive to build because I have a unit above. So I'm going to, instead of doing 2 by 10s for my roof raft, for my first floor ceiling, I have to do engineered beams. So, it becomes more expensive for me to do the build out, which, believe it or not, a wide open space is more expensive than having a partition space because of
Yeah,
the engineered beams. So they're going to get an open canvas. They're going to present it to me. And then, I'm going to make a decision on, and obviously check them out, check out their experience and, where if they have other shops or if they're, how long they've been in business, if they're a new business, they're not. There's a lot of moving parts because I want anchor tenants that are never going to leave. So I'm not trying to have somebody that's coming in and out. I really, and I'm going to start the rents relatively low because the reality is that, I need people to succeed here. I don't want them to, not just charging this crazy rent and the places are empty. I'm willing to work with people and kind of, start low and kind of gradually grow with them. So, and I might be partnering on some of the businesses too. So we'll have that conversation. And once we get further down the road with this, that's how I see this going. You just you have an open space. Anybody's open to it. I mean, I can't discriminate though, Brian. I can't.
no, and I'm not asking you to. I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to. I want to know what the marketing strategy is. That's
Hmm.
all I'm asking, right?
Yep.
And I can
And I think
appreciate the
we have some
discrimination.
other, I think we have some other avenues uh, where we can sort of massage that. For example, you know, Yacino and I fairly regularly attend those commercial realty networking meetings the
Hmm.
first Tuesday of most months, except in the summer. Um, I've been priming the canvas for this project and the big mill for a while. Essentially, you know, at the point where it's ready to start seeking tenants, we're going to come to you guys. And, you know, as the private owner, and again, I think this is a part of Santos's point. As the private owner of the development, Robert, you have a little more discretion to
Sure.
specifically say we want A, B, and C types of businesses, and to press in that direction. Doesn't mean that you only get interested potential clients with businesses like that, but I think that you have more latitude on the private side
Hmm.
as to say up or down on any given tenant. Whereas once it gets to the municipal process, it is a 100% like judgment neutral,
Hmm.
right? It just has to be, is it legal as proposed?
Yeah.
So all of that other stuff, and and I think that's also why Brian is saying, you know, how are we marketing it? How are you going to present it to create the nudge for certain types of tenants? And that's maybe something we can work on with Todd in his role with EDC. And plus, I think you're still working with Sullivan Lashane, with whom we also have a relationship, a past relationship. how can we all create a private and public campaign to get these spaces occupied in a way that fulfills the vision that we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
If I
also,
could,
like I mentioned before, community engagement too. Community engagement, like, what do you guys want to see here? What do the residents want to see here? What do you need? You don't need a pizza shop. Great. There's 100 of them. Cool. All right, good. So what do you need? You got a couple liquor stores, so you don't really need that either. So what do you need? Do you need a bakery? Do you need a deli? Do you need a barber shop? Do you need retail? What would you like? And then I'm going to be listening. You know what I mean? Because if it's between two applications and one's a pizza place and the other one is, I don't know, something,
A
something,
bookstore,
yeah,
a
or is
coffee
there
shop,
a
a music
deli
venue.
or,
Yeah.
something like that, or, something, like a dessert shop or something like that. I might
yeah,
go with
and
the dessert shop,
I would,
So,
I would also like your previous experiences as well, Robert, of filling these spaces with your other developments. I would
so
like to know that
yeah,
as
I
well.
do all residential my entire career. So this
Yeah,
is this is a new concept for me as far as
that's what I
small
thought.
businesses is
Okay.
concerned. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Very good. Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
I'm excited
And
about it because as a business owner, and then seeing the fact that I can't begin to tell you how excited I am to build a community, which is just, not just residential, but like having commercial space with it, like especially like in a town like this where there's not a lot. It's so exciting for me. I'm dying to get my fingers on this and get it going. So, but yeah,
one last comment for you. Definitely
sure.
support you on the geothermal uh, position. You would need like 40 geothermal wells to support that type of structure.
Mm,
Definitely would slow you down.
yeah.
But secondly, when it comes to electric, the public will bring up, hey, are you doing solar panels to offset the all electric structure? Because I deal with that all the time in my structures. And let's face the facts, electric bills are through the roof on all electric sustainable buildings. And my clients like hearing about PV arrays. But I'm not asking you to answer my question now,
Mm,
but maybe the next meeting we can talk about that a little bit more. I don't even know how you would, uh, because these are single units with their own meters, how that would be distributed. Uh, and it just sounds complicated.
mm.
But just be prepared for that question, and maybe we should talk about it next time, because it will come up. Absolutely will come up about PV offsetting electric costs. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I could tell you that. I mean, these are stacked units, one on top of the other. So, heat rises. The second floors, I mean, I got flat roofs, so there is a potential of having panels on the roof that are out of the way where you don't see. So, there is the potential. The thing is that the price of the solar is just bananas. It's crazy. And the last thing I want to do is jack up somebody's, list price or jack up my list prices because I got to pay for this. So it's I have to find a balance where I can, build these.
You should have room on that parcel for a ground array though that serves just the development.
Yeah, but then it's got to be part of the
Yeah, well, the
association.
problem
So
is it's like
yeah.
$2,200 per watt, okay, to
Hmm.
install the panels.
Yeah.
That's approximate cost, but I think it's pretty accurate. And
Mm.
then how is that distributed throughout the units, right? I am
Yeah.
not experienced with distribution of units with a solar array. My
Hmm.
experience is building large complexes that one owner owns it, and that's it, right? So that's my knowledge level.
Hmm.
Uh, but it would get costly, for sure. But I
Yeah.
don't know how that would be distributed throughout the rental agreements or per purchase price or what have you. I leave that up to you.
Yeah, there's two ways to slice it. You could do as you can make it as part of an association, but the problem is, so right now I've actually have a condo management, experienced condo management company pricing out another condo complex that I'm building. So, as far as, putting together the HOA and stuff like that. And we got to do it in phases. It's a little complicated when you're building them, but because they have a base price that they have to like do initially, which is expensive. But I mean, just it minimizes as they go. But anyway, I have to talk to them about how we would be able to incorporate that whole thing because, they have experience in it. So, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll
Yeah.
see. And
Like
it's
I said, this my point is be
Mhm.
prepared to answer that question. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you too that, my entry level homes, I'm putting all electric in, and nobody's given me a problem yet.
Somebody did
Rashad,
bring it up at one of our meetings, just asking you
Yeah,
about alternate
it was
resources.
Claudia Allen. She was asking about renewables, and that's when I remembered spontaneously that I had had that conversation about the geothermal
yeah,
with Eversource, but they have since gone essentially radio silent,
right.
which is very disappointing.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway,
Yeah.
that's where all that is.
Yeah, but I no, I appreciate it. Listen, I'm open to, discussions, conversations. At the end of the day, this is the way it's going. I mean, these are the way all the units, all the rentals are being built nowadays. This, it's energized CT is, there's big incentives and all types of stuff. They're really pushing the all electric, like all over the state. It is. So, but anyway, we'll talk about it down the road. It's all good. Sorry to hog so much time, guys.
Okay. Yeah, if we're through, now we can hear from Todd. Um,
Okay, just sending my share request to
okay.
Tira, and I can share. Thank you. All right, so I will give you the November, December recap on the marketing. When we met last month, I mentioned that our first quarterly newsletter had gone out in late October, and I'll put that on the screen in a second. But just to let you know where we are, we've got over 100 addresses on the list. The open rate was 98 something percent, or excuse me, the delivery rate was 98%. The open rate was 59 clicks. I can't see because there's little things in my way. Um, Click-throughs were pretty good as well too. Um, so we are due for the next quarterly newsletter. I want to show you October's just so you have an idea on the content, so we can start thinking about what we want to do for January.
Yeah.
So we um, we always are driving traffic from this back to the website. We recap the meetings on 630 Riverside as the lead. We profiled Superior Storage as the business of the year. As far as events, we covered what was coming up in November and December. We offered our quick tip. This one was on building permits. And we worked in available commercial properties using LoopNet data. Of these four, I don't know what's still around. In our last meeting, there was very few properties available at this point, correct?
Yeah, and I believe all four of those are still active, right,
Yeah,
Joanne?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, and the restaurant came back on the market. Remember, I mentioned last month that it had expired, but it's back on. And Todd, I apologize. I should be sending you these updates once a month when I get them. So I will try to do that for you.
Sure, that's appreciated. Thank you. So anyhow, yeah, I'd like us to think about topics for January, and I'll cover additional business success stories in a minute that we've done in the past month. But that's one of the features. Any news related items or anything that you want to point out in terms of upcoming events or activities, and again, too, we can fill in that space on available properties once we determine what's on the market. And I'm just going to go back to the other document.
Well, if you're looking for suggestions, Todd, much as you profiled Robert's property, uh, planning and zoning also approved the change of use on the big mill. It's not quite exactly the
Okay.
same as having a building permit or the full permit, but it does mean that the use as apartments plus commercial space is approved, which means essentially nothing can disrupt it at this point. Um, so that is significant. As a follow-up to the Ask Me Anything, we're trying to launch the Citizens Academy, so I wouldn't mind using the
Great.
newsletter to try to drum up some interest. Uh,
Mhm.
we're only going to be able to run that if we get interest. Uh, I did the transcription of all the questions and stuff from the Ask Me Anything event, and I sort of plunked it on the website just in a placeholder spot. But we need to figure out from that how we're going to run that. So it's at some point in January we're going to format that, and I guess at that point, well, I'll work with your time frame too, I guess. Um, the folks working on that with me and I are probably going to talk about that in the week between Christmas and New Year's a little bit.
Mhm.
And maybe we can establish what it is exactly that we want to be offering. Um, we're doing it on the fly, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and,
But
and we committed to quarterly, which gives us a lot of flexibility on when we send it out. It doesn't have to be January. I'm just thinking from late October. But if we want to kind of get more detail into it and push it out a little bit later, that's fine.
okay.
I see.
Santos, I see your hand again.
Just a quick question on this, T. Are we asking other boards, commissions, departments for contribution to this?
We
Updates?
haven't been that much with the exception maybe of trails and recreation because that's, I think, a more obvious connection to some of the community building aspects of economic development. We certainly could.
Yeah, I guess where I'm going is anything positive to fill the
Mhm.
page and help Todd out with this. I just feel like it should be a little bit more robust in its, search of good data, I guess, positive data.
Yeah,
Do
we
you have
could cover
anything in
more.
particular in mind, B?
Um, Board of Education, school publicizing pathways programs, welding shop, carpentry shops. Uh, those are the things that immediately cross my mind.
Oh yeah, that's good. They were talking about launching that adult education welding program, yes?
Yeah.
That is correct. Yes,
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 that
ma'am.
would be a very important one, I think. I'm glad you
Yeah. So
reminded us.
that's what I mean by other boards and commissions, like, to each chairman or chairwoman, just to get their ideas. Because again, filling the page with positive
Mhm.
just reinforces the marketing plan here. And it obviously helps Todd, fill the page. So that's where I'm going.
Good.
Yeah, that would be helpful too to increase our distribution. It's been like pulling teeth to get people to share email addresses. They're very protective. Several groups just gave me a flat out hard no. Um, so if we reach out and we'll agree to publicize other groups' events, maybe that'll grease the skids for getting more contacts from
Oh,
them too.
Todd, my wife is the head of the marketing department for the Board of Education, so that's why I
Oh,
know
great.
about these programs.
Oh, perfect. Thank
So
you.
So there might be
Can you
some
just
double.
connect Todd to Heather
Okay.
then directly?
Yeah, yeah. I just rather just reach out to Jess, who is chairperson, and then go from there because she controls.
Jess. Okay.
Yeah, Jess Bolte was elected as chairperson of the BOE now. Um,
Oh, she was?
yeah, she was.
I didn't even know that. How do you
Yep,
like that?
she is now the chairperson, and Kathleen is vice chair. But I just feel like even if it's double dipping of data, I don't
Hmm.
care. It's positive uh, information that goes out, and maybe one eye is reading yours, Todd, and another eye in the community is reading the Board of Education's posts from my wife, right? So I
Right.
don't care. Double dip the information. I don't give a crap.
Sounds good.
Repetition is retention.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
it,
so thanks for those ideas and anything else you want to send my way. We'll get that newsletter pulled together. just additionally on the recap side, since our last meeting on November 19th, items we pushed out on social media were the Ask Me Anything America 250 event. I know there are other America 250 events too that could also be publicized or can also be publicized through what does that run through? July 4th, 2026, I think.
Yes, but I think that calendar is very much in flux based
Oh,
on our
because
last meeting.
okay, because of the rec department's personnel stuff or
No, because of
okay.
because they lost months to the nonsense with trying to pass a budget. Nobody could really plan for anything, so they got on the scheduling back foot.
Hmm.
And then the former first selectman was essentially the lead, and
Oh, okay.
I think is still sort of the lead, but she's not at town hall all day every day anymore. And like we had a meeting scheduled on Monday
Hmm.
that from her day job, so to speak, she couldn't make it, so I ended up running it for them on Zoom, and it did not feel like they had a solid plan of events. Um, I think they are narrowing things down. Um, so I don't even know what I would tell you to promote on the behalf of that program at this point right now, except I know because it's something that I personally am running, the Citizens Academy is gonna happen if we can get enough interest.
Okay, so we'll
But
focus on.
even if my thing fails, it's no harm, no foul because there's no sunk costs in it. It's just my time.
Yeah, we can, and hopefully we'll help you generate this interest, right? If we're
Yes.
speaking about it in another vehicle. Okay,
Do
so
we
just go
do
ahead.
we still have the murder mystery in January?
I do not know.
I think it was supposed to be January 23rd.
I do not know. You would have to ask Jess.
Because Erica Gross seemed to think that it was still on, but I don't have any details on it, except it's supposed to be at the high school.
Yeah, I just can't tell you. I have
Okay.
no idea how advanced the plans are for which things.
All right. I just didn't know if it came up since you yeah, you were into it more than I am.
Yeah, but I was just pinch hitting for that meeting on Monday. Like I literally generated a Zoom link an hour before they were to meet because they were going to meet in person, and then that when Amy wasn't available, there was no backup plan. So I didn't have an agenda. I,
Yeah.
I can't tell you where the planning is on any of that.
Hmm. All right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, as stuff comes online, certainly we can decide. We've tried to give everything a little bit of a business slant too, and again, if it's not a fit or if it's kind of a tentative event, let's use the space for something else.
Yeah.
Um, so additionally in social media, we help publicize the holiday events that occurred in early December, and then we have two new success stories that have been published. Main Street Gelato and Larry and Erica Grow and their various businesses are the stories are up on the website. They're 500 word success stories, and excerpts of those were published as social posts, which did really well. I mean, the one on Main Street Gelato, just on the town Facebook page, had over 250 engagements just on the town page, and then there were 26 shares to other groups. Um, and the story on the Grows has so far about 75 engagements just on the town site, and that was shared to about 25 groups as well. So they were both very appreciative, very happy. Um, and they can certainly be included in a newsletter too. We haven't used that vehicle to talk about those businesses. Main Street Gelato is just from people's comments, very well liked in terms of what it's bringing to Thompson for another option for a community gathering space, as well as I guess their takeout business is gangbusters too. They say people are showing up in their pajamas nightly to take out gelato and take it home, and just very nice
They're
people.
open. They're open till 9 o'clock at night. Because I was
Yeah.
there the other night. Geez, you guys say you open pretty late.
Hmm.
They said, "Oh yeah." So, and every time I go there, there's somebody there. So it's a destination. It's out of the way compared to where they were before. But I'm telling you, they're doing a great business there, which is very fortunate.
Yeah,
I'm really happy with the
I saw
town
you
too.
sneaking out of there the other day, Joanne, at 9:10. I saw you. I'm thinking it's probably going
Yeah,
out that.
with your bunny slippers on.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a bad bad.
I don't want to talk about what she was wearing, Bri, but yeah, it was interesting.
Okay, let's move on.
So, I'd like to have another couple businesses in the hopper if you guys want to make suggestions. And the process is I contact them, we do a Zoom interview, and then I write it up and let them approve it, and then we push it out. And I'll obviously link as best as we can to their marketing efforts. So if you have ideas for other businesses, either ones that are coming out as business of the month from the TBA or others, I can continue that process.
Well, they didn't do a drawing, they do a business card draw at those TBA meetings, and they forgot to do one in December. So I
Oh,
think, we decided to go with Main Street Gelato because they hosted the meeting, right?
Yeah, but yeah, Todd's already interviewed them. We
Right.
could always go with Smokes on Spokes for another business.
yeah, I've been in contact with Wayne. He wants
Today's
to
his
wait
last
till
day.
he's fully open
Okay.
at the Main Street Gelato location. Yeah.
All right. I thought he might say that.
I've had
It might be a good time of year, Todd, to feature uh the wedding venues because they're in their slow period now, but
Mhm.
they're gonna probably start interviewing potential couples first quarter would be my guess. So that would be Lord Thompson Manor and
Pine,
Pinecroft.
Pinecroft.
Yeah,
Pinecroft.
Pinecroft on what's that, West Thompson
West
Road?
Hampton. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, we did. Thompson Manor was one of the first ones we did, so that's done. But I obviously have the contact there, and we can refresh that.
Well, I'm
Um,
thinking about for the newsletter.
right, right. So yeah, that story's written, and we can include that too. And they did mention, yeah, they work kind of cooperatively in terms of if there's a couple coming down from Mass or Rhode Island, and they're considering Thompson, that usually they're going to visit the both venues while they make their stop and make their choice from there. So that would be good. I can talk to was it Pinecroft you said?
Pinecroft.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
Hey,
lovely.
how about well, you were still talking about Smokes on Stokes. No, Stokes on Smokes.
Smokes on
Today's his last
Spokes.
day. He'll be opening in March, so maybe make a note to
Yeah.
speak to him in
Okay.
February. He's going to be opening back up in March. He's taking the winter off. And for another business, how about the Coach's Corner, the little ice cream place?
Oh, a la mode.
A la mode, yeah, that would be a
Good
super one
place.
because with the holidays coming, I mean, they do a great business of baking and pastries and stuff.
Yeah.
So that would be a nice little business to go visit
Okay.
or contact.
I had tried Triple Raven a couple times too, and Shelly's kind of I think her name is Shelly, right?
Yes, Shelley.
She's been a little hesitant, so that's one that's
Oh,
we've made a couple
I
of.
might try her again, Todd, because again, headed into the winter, that is a
Yeah.
slow time for hospitality. That might be a good way to give her a boost.
Okay.
Guys,
I will reach out to all them.
Yeah,
if
and
I
the
may, I mean,
next time I'm in there, I'll talk to Shelly
yeah.
too. I know her. And I'll speak with her as well about getting the promotion on here.
Sounds great. Thank you.
This is exactly the reason why I'm here. Because of stuff like this. Like not every town does this. I sit on stuff like this all the time, and this is very intriguing to me that you guys are really like you're literally going and trying to go into a business saying I want to elevate you. I mean, that's awesome. Good job. Good job. It's great. Yeah.
Well, it's really helpful when you have good stories to tell, and you really do. I mean, just, since I've been involved, just always pleasantly surprised at what's right there in Thompson,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
a lot of people who are living and working in the town, and some of them have been there their whole lives, and they're still building and adding businesses,
Yeah,
and so it's
that's
it's
great
been
what you're
fun.
doing. It's great.
B,
Have,
I see your
have
hand up
we,
again.
and I'm sorry to even ask this question, but I'll ask it just for my own education. Have we publicized the Main Street redevelopment program and Riverside Drive, T, on this platform?
You mean the impending grant-funded projects?
Yes.
Not yet. I am holding my water until I have those damn contracts executed, which
Yeah.
could be at any second. But I feel like it is only beneficial for us to really make a lot of noise about those projects once I know I can push the next step forward.
Yeah.
Obviously, you and I are
Agreed.
talking to Michelle tomorrow because they awarded the contract for Silver Petrocelli for the rest of the architectural. But even
Yes.
that being a concrete step forward, that work's not going to be visible to anybody for a while.
Yeah, I
So,
know, but I feel like as soon as those grants are executed, we should have this group in working with Todd make a special outline of that because it's just so massive, right?
yeah,
And we
that'll
should
that'll be
really
that'll be
just,
$6 million all at once. I am right with you. A
yeah, yeah,
direct infusion of cash into the municipality that's been promised in the case of the Brownfield grant for 5 years. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm
Talk about a launching pad of information, right?
yeah,
You can't ask for anything more teed up, right? So we'll
yeah.
get to that. We'll get to that.
We profiled 65 Main too, and as Tira's right on top of that. As that progresses, there's probably a nice follow up as we come into the spring if you've got new news
Oh
in
yeah, yeah.
terms of
After
the building.
tomorrow's meeting, it's really going to start to develop over there at 65 Main, and I know myself and T are very excited about that because we've spent a significant amount of time on that structure.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to deploy that marketing effort at the right time. I don't want to deploy it and then have it fizzle while we wait for 4 months for the architecturals
Oh,
to be done.
100%,
Yeah,
100%. Timing will be everything with that. But my point is just it should be unto itself, right? In that marketing campaign unto itself and really elaborate on it. That's all. That's all.
works for me.
Okay, thank you. That was what I had for tonight, unless you have more questions.
No, I'll see if I can get some more names to add to that email list. Um, yeah, outside of the TBA and stuff.
And those I have, and thank you for that. I think we were going to try and get some from the rec department and the assessor as well, but I haven't heard back.
You've just got to be after them, Todd.
Yeah, you just keep sending emails. It's Brian in the rec department, correct? Another
Yes,
Brian?
it is
Yes.
another Brian Levency.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
short on the Bryans, Todd. We need to add a few others. Tira, also, and I'm really sorry to do this on this call. Yes, what time is our meeting tomorrow? Because I never saw a calendar invite on that, and it's
Oh,
not posted on my calendar.
that's because I'm terrible at using Outlook invites. I want to say 3. It was based on
Yeah,
whatever you were available.
I know it, but now it's not on my calendar, and my calendar is always very full.
All
So
right.
I would have missed the meeting
All
completely.
right. Well, let me just confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's 3, and I will try to be better about using the Outlook invite
Yeah,
function. I'm just terrible at
yeah.
it.
If you can't do it, just text me and I'll put it on there. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not coming.
Yeah,
So
three
yeah.
o'clock tomorrow, you, me, and Michelle.
Okay.
I'll text it to you right now. Talk amongst yourselves while I'm texting B, or move
Are
on
you
to the
next?
next topic.
Are you up next? You're the grant applications, or do we want to go to me?
Real estate, Joe.
Okay, yeah. All right here, so I'll do it. Again, my report is boring. It's the same numbers. It's either 7 or 8. 7 or 8. That seems to be the numbers. Residential, there's 7 properties for sale, ranging from 1 mobile home to a waterfront to 5 houses, ranging in the 315 to 589 price range. And in the past 30 days, there have been 8 sales of residential properties.
Oh, really?
So 7 are active, 8 are sold. And then as far as commercial, we have 10 active commercial properties, but 4 of those have been on the market for over 60 days. And it's a beauty parlor type of a beauty salon. 4 of those are leases for a single address for a beauty salon. Another one is just a business. And then the Drafters building, like we just saw on Todd's page, the garage on Riverside Drive, right by Riverside Pizza. Crossroads is back on the market, like I said. G7 is still on the market, but we do have a new listing, and St. Joe's is back on the market.
Before you go on, that's already got an accepted offer.
Well, it didn't show that in MLS today, so it's still an active listing. But anyway, that didn't last very long. A week.
So on that one, is it still going to become, housing units, or is that plan now up in the air?
As a multi and advertised as a commercial property. So, it was an open palette. It said that all the everything had been approved, and so apparently somebody.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, planning and zoning put that through, and actually it was a nice little development. I don't know what happened with that guy.
So I do
don't
know. I know exactly what's going on here. So before the rumor mill starts to fly. So 2 weekends ago, the current owner emailed me to let me know that he was putting it on the market, that they were not like hot and heavy to sell, but that they were doing it essentially to keep their options open because it still was not penciling out well for them. And that if they got the right offer, they would sell. So I actually shopped it over to a developer that Robert and I know, and I think they were discussing it this week. In the meantime, I got a call on Monday from a buyer's broker asking about it, and he's the one who told me that they had an at least a tentatively accepted offer, and he was asking me all those questions. So what I told him, and what I would tell anybody who did call to inquire, is exactly that. It has an approved permit for 40 apartment units and a design. So the most cost-effective thing for any developer who was going to buy that to do would be to buy it with and do exactly what's already been approved. I mean, why would you go to the expense to redesign it and have to come back in front of planning and zoning? So I think that's the base understanding. Because they'd have to come back in if they wanted to do something different. I also had some really obviously not sophisticated enough people calling thinking they were going to scoop it up for a bargain. And, one guy was talking about doing half the number of apartments, but doing a flea market on Sundays. Dude,
I
this
also
is not
heard the townspeople wanted to make it a veterans, make it a homeless shelter, which could have worked too. Well, veterans, there was somebody's idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I saw all the online chatter too, but the online chatter
it's already
doesn't
approved.
mean anything.
Tier is right. Tier is right. It's already approved. Just take it and build what's approved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me put it this way in terms of veterans housing. If the person who bought it wanted to make those 40 approved apartment units restricted to veterans or preferential for veterans, They don't have to go in front of planning and zoning for that. That's a private ownership or rental contract. Planning and zoning has no jurisdiction over who moves into a building. So if they wanted to do 40 veterans units or restricted or make it age restricted, they never need to come to anybody for that approval. Now, it's highly unlikely that somebody would be able to do that profitably. So it would have to either be a company that specialized in uh, um, age-restricted developments or a nonprofit builder. I don't know if that's who made this offer, but I suspect not. But those
No.
kinds of things, that would fall into that 40 units, it'd be fine.
You read the comments, so I was just bringing it up what the comments were. That's all.
Yeah, no, I saw them all too, Joanne. Some of them were infuriating, in fact, but
Yeah. Yes. Well, you know. Well,
yeah.
anyways, so that's off the market then. That's great.
Or it will be soon, presumably.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, you're set. You texted Brian. You can update on grant applications.
Yeah, I am trying frantically to get both of the multi-million-dollar grant contracts executed by the end of the year. The SIF grant, which is the newer grant but the larger grant, I'm pretty confident that I'll have that executed within 30 days. The older one continues to be a constant, like we're constantly having to refresh documents and renew documents because it keeps going on so long. But I had a conversation with the state's attorney's administrative assistant today. I think we resolved a couple of the outstanding problems. Um, and as long as they turn around a new draft financial assistance proposal cover letter to me, then I would also feel confident that we could close that within 30 days. I did sign a new one a couple weeks ago, but the developer's attorney realized that what we thought it said wasn't actually what we thought it said, so we had to go back to the state. But I think that we're going to resolve that. Anyway, I'm pretty sure within 30 days I'm going to have the executed contract for the Main Street reconstruction. And what is today? Is today Wednesday? Yesterday, I submitted a new grant that Janet and I put together in 2.5 days for some green infrastructure improvements in the downtown core. So that would be some rain gardens at the school and a green and the library and a green roof at town hall. It's about a $330,000 request, no match requirement, and that was to a uh, CT Deep ecosystem grant program for Long Island Sound because the French River drains into Long Island Sound. It's all part of the same watershed. I have no idea how competitive it is, but they'll be making their announcements in first quarter of 26. Um, so maybe we'll have another $330,000 to do some infrastructure, some green infrastructure improvements downtown. And in mid-January, I am likely to be applying to the Community Foundation of Eastern Connecticut for a capacity building grant for the board, for the organization of the Turtelot Center for Small Business Incorporated. We have a proposal from a group called Harvest Development Group that the board members and I have reviewed. It's a $32,000 contract that they're proposing. I spoke to the Community Foundation. If I can come up with a modest amount of match funds from some sources, and I'm working on that, then I think we have a good chance of getting at least 80% of it, maybe 75 to 80% of it funded by the Community Foundation. So that's something I'll work on in the first couple weeks of January. And that's it for me for grants.
Okay. Yeah, I
You guys
had
should go back and vote on the ZMAP thing since you've got Brian. I had him come in so you'd get the quorum.
yeah. Yeah, we only had one more thing on the agenda anyway. That was the just a wrap up of the Ask Me Anything. But yeah, if you want to go back,
Well, I can do that so fast. So most of you, if not all of you, were there. Uh, People, as with the last time we did it, were very pleased with it, enjoyed the conversations. I did sort of translate into actual readable English the notes that were taken at all the tables. I created the document. It is living on my office webpage right now, just as a link to the document. I haven't pushed it out to the people whose emails we captured yet, or like publicized it yet. I just haven't. It just hasn't filtered to the top to do that. And based on that, we're going to create the Citizens Academy. That's it for Ask Me Anything, except
yeah,
whatever feedback you guys want to give.
yeah. And as for me, I know we didn't have a huge public uh, turnout. We had some, and we had a lot of extra food. But it was really nice to talk to some of the people there who actually work in the town hall, people that us volunteer commissions don't get to see, as well as a few of the students that were there. Were four students there too, taking notes. Nice kids. It's just nice to meet them and talk to them. So in that vein, I thought it was very successful.
Yeah, the feedback was all good that we got.
All right, we can go back to the ZMAP funding.
So, as I explained earlier, Santos to Yacino and Joanne, I, I have a deadline of tomorrow to let Connecticut RC&D know if we want to buy into a reprint of some Z maps for Thompson. What I don't know is how much it would cost us to do a swap out of the one photo, a photo of Main Street Gelato in place of the old drafters. Um, and I don't know what quantity they're proposing. So all I can say is, since I don't know what the match cost is, if you guys want to vote to essentially allow me to zero out your printing and publication line for the year, um, as what's available to us, I can call Jocelyn and say, what's the buy-in? If it's that amount or less, we can buy in. If it's more than that amount, we don't make the expenditure.
Let me ask, have we given out a lot of those? I mean, it's worth publishing, right?
Oh yeah, they're super
Okay.
popular. I
All
mean,
right.
they're popular at different times of year more than others. I bring them to the Mystic Outdoor Arts Festival where we give them out like hotcakes.
Okay.
We send flats of them to the Big E, and there is at least one visitor center. I want to say it's the visitor center in or near Danbury that periodically contacts me to ask me to send them a flat. And then we give them out, in town hall and at events. But
Yeah.
we do actually distribute them across the state and importantly at things like the Biggie.
Okay. No, I know we're giving them out. I didn't know, if they were that popular. So,
They are hugely popular.
okay. Well, that's good to know. I can't think of anything else pending that we might need the printing and publication money for until, the next budget. Can you, Joe?
No, I can't. Not at this time of year, anyways. When we're kind of winding down the year,
Yeah,
calendar year.
I mean, if they're that popular, I'm okay with um, proposing we spend up to our allotted budget on the ZMAP.
So are you making that as a
I,
motion, Mr.
I was
Chairman?
just going to say, I'll, make that a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, everybody in favor? Bri, you okay?
All good with me. Thank you.
Okay,
All
so there
right.
won't be any
Bye.
no's, so we're good.
Okay, great.
All right, I will find out about that tomorrow.
Okay. So that, other than, if we have anything specific for January agenda, um, let me know. And it would be helpful if people let me know that they were not coming to the meeting. I know
Yeah.
everybody's busy, but, um,
Well,
there
that's
may
a
be
great
times
idea.
where we just wouldn't have the meeting if we don't have the quorum.
Yeah, and Brian, I had every intention of showing up at 6:30 today. I did get delayed, and that's why I was a little tardy. So I apologize for that.
And did you
Shame on
get a letter to Marie about going to
Well,
alternate?
I wouldn't do that at this point because you have no alternates right now. So,
Well, we have Andrew.
Yeah, no,
well, I would say if
just to answer your question, yes, I did submit it. Whether that's executed upon is entirely up to the group.
Because as soon as that's in, Andrew will come up to the regular table, even though we don't distinguish. And then we just need one alternate to fill. Because I did talk to Andrew, and he'll definitely want to take Brian's slot if and when it's available. Okay. Well, you did it. So next meeting is January 21st. And if we're okay, we'll close out at 8:07.
Oh, 21st, that's the day I'm meeting with David Corus. So I'll
Oh,
have a lot
good.
to talk about that day. So I'm adding this to the meeting recording for Lynn to add to the minutes to make sure that that is on the agenda.
Okay. Oh, yeah, good.
Oh, hey, Robert, did I see a ring on that finger of yours?
I
I
Did you
saw
get
I
that
married?
too.
officially got married. Yep.
Congratulations. I wanted to
Thank you
touch
very much.
it.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding? He's been
Well,
married for like a month and a half. They already aren't
Mhm.
talking to each other anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. He
Oh,
didn't make the last meeting. Okay, good.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
congrats.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Joanne. That's
All
nice.
right. Well,
So,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Merry
Christmas. Talk to
Christmas,
you later.
everybody.
Christmas.
Merry
Thank you.
All right.
Christmas.
Great job,
Take care,
everybody.
guys.
Bye
All
bye.
right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Have a good one.